Okay, so welcome to Get Seen, Be Heard. I am Christina Daves of Care for Anyone, and my co-host is Karen Yankovich. Welcome.
Hey, you guys.
Welcome, guys. Today we have a very special guest, Rich Otey, who we're going to dive into Periscope, and I'm really excited, and I'm going to be getting paid today. But we just want to start a little bit. Karen and I are really excited about this. I do PR work, DIY PR. Karen does social media strategy. She's a rock star at it. And together, it's a really good marriage. So we are really excited to do this every week at 2:30 on Thursdays Eastern Time. So please join us. We'll always have new guests. So Karen, you want to talk a little bit? We figured we'd take the first few minutes and just talk about updates in the industry that might help.
Yeah. So we're going to go, if you're watching this live, we're going to go to 3:45 today so we can get our hour in. So we'll keep an eye on that clock for that. So we're going to introduce Rich in a minute. You guys have, we have a lot of questions for you, Rich. But before we do that, we wanted to talk a little bit about what's been happening in our respective industries this week. And there's been a couple of big social media changes this week. And I don't know if you guys have watched it. First of all, we're going to save the Periscope stuff for Rich. There's been some major Periscope stuff today, but also LinkedIn, which you know is my jam, right? LinkedIn has had a lot of changes this week. They updated their messaging, which is awesome. I don't know if you guys have seen that. And Sonia and I talked a little bit about that the other day. They updated their messaging. So now, I don't know if you remember when you sent a LinkedIn message, you could never really see if you responded or who responded. You had to check your sent and your in and go back and forth between all these different folders to see the conversation. Now it comes up like a Facebook chat kind of. So it's very cool. It's very cool. It makes it a whole lot easier to do. Washing done, Spirit, welcome. So I'm really excited about that. The only thing I have to get used to, I guess, they also changed the way you accept invites. So I shouldn't say that. In the past, there was an archives folder, right? So there's no need for an archives folder anymore now because the chat stays. The whole chat stays in saved. But what happens is when you send a LinkedIn invite, if you personalize it, if I accept your thing without reading your message first, your message disappears because there's no archives folder anymore. So now you just got to be careful to read the message before you accept the connection request if you want to respond to it. And I don't know if somebody can tell me I'm wrong about that. I'd love to hear it. I've been playing with it for the last few days since it changed, and I can't come up with another way to do it. So now you've got to make sure you read the message, respond to the message, and then you can accept the connection request. So have you guys seen that? And Christina, have you been on LinkedIn? Have you seen the new messaging? I don't know if everybody has it yet.
No, I haven't seen it. I've heard little buzzes about it, and I couldn't wait to hear you talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's a big change for LinkedIn. And they're calling it a chat. And technically, it kind of is a chat. If we're both online at the same time, we can sort of chat. But there's no way for me to know you're online. It's not like I can say, oh, look, Christina's online. Let me chat with her on LinkedIn.
Green button.
Right. So it's a chat, but it's more of a, like a Facebook messaging kind of thing. So that's the big social media news this week. Rich, have you seen it?
I've seen it, but I'm definitely going to have to talk with you offline as far as fixing my LinkedIn. I am the carpenter's kids with no shoes, or the cobbler's kids with no shoes on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's just horrible. I literally just have my profile picture up there in one job or something like that. It's ridiculous.
All right, well, that's got to change. That's got to change. And I know that, Rich, because I've been trying to do homework on you before this show, and you totally keep a low radar.
Oh, yes.
Definitely keep a low profile.
And we'll tell everybody a little bit more about you, let you introduce yourself, too, when we get into Periscope. But it's just this guy who's, under the radar, but he's worked with people we could only dream of working with. He is,
Oh, really?
Who've sold 18 million records. He's helped people get 24 million
really
on YouTube. But he's just that guy who knows everything there is to know and just gets to help people like us. So we are so excited to have you.
Oh,
great.
Thanks. Come on over and hang out anytime. I like these compliments.
So, Christina, tell us what's going on in the PR world.
One of the things I was really fortunate, I was interviewed on Bloomberg. And the funny thing was my interview turned into them talking about how they hate to be pitched by people like us. So the big tip was, in my whole interview with this, I'm going to put it on my blog soon. I just had it transcribed. Before you pitch the media, and so many of us are doing it ourselves, make sure you know what they talk about. Make sure you know their format. I was on a business program. They specialize in tech, and they were talking about the crazy pitches that they get. And then you tip these journalists off. If you give them really good stuff, and whether they accept that first story or not, but that it's a tech reporter, or that it's a style reporter, fashion reporter, journalist, just always make sure that you do your homework and find out what it is they cover, what they like to talk about, and it is going to put you so far ahead of everybody else. And I'll tell you what else they said, publicists who do this too. So be careful if you're giving your money to a publicist, because they might be ticking your company off with the journalists.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where's that interview?
I just got it transcribed. I'll have it up this week. I'll put it on my blog. But it's really good. It's Corey Johnson from Bloomberg, and he talks about that. And he's like, please share with your people. Make sure they know what we're talking about. Don't waste our time.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, all right, what do you guys think? That's our little update. But I think we have a lot to talk about with Periscope. So I want to formally introduce our guest, Rich Otey. And as I said, he's this guy who kind of goes under the radar, but he's brilliant at this stuff. And I'll let him share a little bit, but a little birdie told me that he might be visiting Twitter to kind of help them with Periscope, and that's their platform. So this guy knows what's going on, and he's going to teach us how to use it. I think I'm going to be the guinea pig and try it today. We're going to go live on Periscope. So welcome, Rich.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, there's been some big updates today on Periscope. A lot of people, I don't know how many Periscopers are actually online. Most of the people who are on Blab have done Periscope, although it's not a must that you're on both. But I'm a believer that this is mostly about live streaming in general. I use Periscope, and that's the one that I most resonate with. It kind of fits my little ADD personality and able to bounce around and check other people's stuff out a lot. But it's mostly about live streaming, in my opinion. So we're going to talk about Periscope today, but we're on Blab, which is another one that's doing live streaming, but it's a little bit more collaborative. It's what I believe Google Hangouts was hoping to be, but anyone who's ever tried to use Google Hangouts knows it's pretty clunky. I look forward to them, hopefully, putting a fire under it with all this going on with all the other live streaming apps, because, if you could integrate with YouTube, Google, and they could make all that work, I'm sure a bunch of people would jump ship to go back to that.
Why haven't they? Great.
I think that, it's one of those ones. It's almost like they're trying to do too many things. Now they're changing the alphabet. I think they're doing great stuff. Anyone who's trying to do anything online needs to still master Google and YouTube. But I don't get it. I sometimes think they're trying to do too many things instead of going deep on a couple things that are working or they should fix.
They want to be everything to everyone, and they should focus on one.
Now that they see what's going on with live streaming, I bet you they got a lot of engineers and programmers working on it as we speak.
Yeah.
Either that or they're just going to buy Twitter.
Right. Well, even Facebook was able to jump in fast. So why can't Google jump in? I don't understand that. But
yeah, I'm not sure either. One of the updates that happened, because you guys gave a little bit of updates earlier. Hey, is that Rock Your Talk on here? Hi, how's it going, Christine?
Kristen's here. I talked to her earlier.
Yeah, rocking, cool. She's awesome. I love.
She's going to be a guest in a couple weeks, I hope.
Oh, cool. I'll have to get on with that one. So one of the updates that happened today with Periscope is you can now do landscape. You used to only be able to shoot vertically, but now you can go landscape mode. I've tried it a couple times. It's still a little buggy, but then again, we experienced buggy today. It doesn't mean it won't get better. And for all you Facebook fans out there, you can now, if you click share, the little birdie click in the corner on your Periscope and share to Twitter. You can also share to Facebook, which made it a lot easier. You used to have to copy the link and so now that's going to be easier. I haven't actually used that yet on my account. I was helping someone else out this morning and we tried it out on that and it was pretty seamless. But then again, this all happened today. I literally was updating my phone as I left the house to come into WS Radio to help Steve with his show. So I'm actually at the radio station right now. Going to be helping Steve when we're done. Although I don't know if I'm going to be able to help in the first segment because we got a little delayed here. But hey, it is what it is. This is what's going on. I was joking earlier with someone on Periscope saying when you're a pioneer, you don't normally get warm welcomes in the beginning. Sometimes you get arrows in the back. And nothing of trying to be politically incorrect or anything. And you could get bullets from a cowboy. It's not like a Native Indian thing or anything. Don't worry.
Well, we got Brittany live on here helping us. I don't think.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I don't think Mark Zuckerberg's going to hop on if we need help with Facebook.
Well, that's one of the things, just really quick, I want to say about Periscope that a lot of people underestimate is the ability to nurture your first few followers is priceless. I don't know if anyone's ever seen the video on YouTube, Lessons from a Dancing Man. We've ever seen that one before. Maybe I'll put it on or something like that. But check it out. It's just talk about the lone nut and the first followers and how important it is to nurture your first followers. There's a lot of people that go on Periscope and they'll maybe get bummed out. They're used to having 15,000 fans on Facebook or whatever, and maybe 1 to 5 people are following them. And, they're just like, I want 1,000 followers. And you can't connect with 1,000 followers. I don't know if what the most any of you have ever had on a Periscope before, but if you have 1,000 followers, I mean, that stream of comments is going so fast. You're not actually engaging. You're just talking at the people. You're not actually engaging with the people. But when you can get to know those first followers that you have and dive deeper, you can have individual conversations. You literally can ask them a question, get to know them a little more, find out what city they live in, what are they using it for. You can give them specific information that will help their specific business. A lot of marketers out there, I mean, I happen to do marketing now, and to some degree we all do marketing on this blab here, but some marketers are trying to make a pre-packaged, this is the only way to use Periscope. And I think that's one of the things that is probably, I wouldn't say the most dangerous, but the most limiting, is to think there's only one way to use it. There's people who are using this to crowdsource directions for people who are blind. So they'll log on to someone else's and ask, what does it look like? And they'll say, turn left, turn right. I mean, there's so many things you can use it for. You can use it for product reviews for your e-commerce stores. You can show behind the scenes if you're a band and show your fans things they would have never had an opportunity to see, or even have them see a show that they could have never made because they're on the other side of the planet. Tourism boards, and even the San Diego Opera. Like, I don't know, I haven't looked here real quick to see if someone's on here. I'll look in a minute, but I'm actually potentially going to be helping them out to just take some old school ways of marketing and make it fresh and new. And I think the most important part of why I was saying nurturing your first followers is they get to know, like, and trust you a lot more when they can look into your eyes, they can hear your voice, they can tell what you're about. There's intonation, there's different resonance in your voice as opposed to just a blog post or a picture with a cool quote or something. Nothing against any of those things. They just get to know you a little deeper.
But, we talked about that, Rich, on the phone. And one thing I want to ask you about, because that was one of my questions, because we haven't done my Periscope yet. But so let's say you get on Periscope, like I think I told you Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to be at NBC with one of my clients. I was like, I'm going to Periscope behind the scenes so people can see what it's like to film a segment. How awesome is that? But I want to keep that. Like, I want people to be able to watch it over and over. Is Periscope one and done? Is it like a Snapchat, or is it something that we can, you can record like we're doing here and keep it evergreen?
Yes. Great question. There's a couple different ways you can do it. If you want to see the comment, well, as it sits, it disappears in 24 hours. So when you go live, it'll actually disappear if you do nothing. If you change no configuration, it's on your phones, it disappears in 24 hours, which for some people is a good thing because they're afraid to hit broadcast, and just knowing that it disappears in 24 hours, that actually for them is a good thing because they can make it go away and they don't have to worry about it anymore. In your case, there's a couple different ways you can do it. If you want to see the hearts and comments and review it later because maybe you're going to be paying attention to that newscast, you can use a service, catch.me. It's with catch with a K, and that'll catch all your Periscopes, and then you can go back and review them later, and actually has a pretty cool functionality where you can follow them back on Twitter, and you can see the hearts. And there's also a setting that you can set on your phone to where when you're done doing your broadcast, it'll actually save it to your phone. But if you do it that way, it won't necessarily save the comments, or not. It won't save the comments and hearts. You'll just get the video. So you could repurpose that. You could take that video and then have it go to YouTube, turn it in. See, I personally don't use catch.me yet. I might at some point, but some of the scopes I've done, I want to use to build a membership site later. I'm putting the streaming academy together. And so if they're all just sitting on catch.me, someone can go there and just look at them all anyway. Right. And it's not like,
well, you know what? One of the things that I do, Rich, which is like if I like some of the Periscopes. I like that they're one and done, and other ones I like to save. So if there's one that I do that I want to save, I'll go to Twitter when it's over with, and I'll click the web link, and then I'll do a screen record of the web link, and then it'll have the comments on the side and the hearts on the side, and it'll be in the landscape format, which I know we can talk about also. But prior to today, it was a way to upload it to YouTube in a landscape format. So that's just another way. It's kind of a pain because if you do a 40-minute long, I don't really do that, but let's say it's a 20-minute long Periscope, you kind of have to leave your computer for 20 minutes while it does the screen record. But it is another option.
Yes. No, that's a great point.
So
it's a really good point.
The catch me up before you do it, or then you do your Periscope and then you can look for it on catch.me?
You have to set it up prior.
Okay.
You used to. I don't use it myself right now, but I've seen it many times and know of other people who use it. I know you can't go get broadcasts that have already been broadcast, but you used to actually have to put hashtag catch in your title for them to catch it. I don't believe that's happening anymore. Someone could probably put that in the comment bar on the side. I don't think you have to put that in the title anymore. I think just being signed up and connected to catch, they'll automatically catch them now. And you can go on catch and delete it. There's a lot of great things with catch. Just because I don't use it doesn't mean that it's not a great technology. It's actually really, really cool.
Okay. And your web chick just said you can use the hashtag, or if you join catch, it'll automatically pick it up.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Great.
And there's one thing, something Karen mentioned earlier when she was talking about taking screenshot. I like the idea that they're going to be able to do landscaping or landscape view. However, there's times I've noticed a lot of other marketers like to use that space, say they're going to repurpose it and they're going to put it up on YouTube. And now you'll have like the thin normal view that you would have on Periscope. And then they'll use, since YouTube uses 16:9 format, they actually use that extra space to use it for titles or maybe QR codes, so you could text to get more information right there on your YouTube screen. So I'm sure you're going to be seeing people use both. It's not necessarily always better to use landscape mode. It's going to be specific, right? There, you could be a photographer that's trying to show your area, or you work with the tourist board and you want to get certain things. So again, there's not really a one size fits all. I think the two most important things to remember with Periscope is just get on first and notice other people's Periscopes, notice what they're doing in their particular markets. Don't get too attached to the hearts. I mean, it's great to get hearts. It's great to get feels or whatever they call them here now. No, they're props now. I think they're getting too many comments on the feels. But so it's great to get those, but some people don't even necessarily use those in the way that they're supposed to be used anyway. Sometimes it's just, heart, because it's a heart contest. But it's really supposed to be some sort of feedback for the broadcaster so they could understand that, oh, they liked what I just said. Right. That was a great point or something like that. So.
Okay, great. All right. You want to get started? For people, I know there are people on here who've never done Periscope like me.
Yeah, let's get you started.
All right, everyone grab your phones.
So I don't know, for you guys that don't know this, Christina has never done a Periscope.
I'm a Periscope.
I find hard to do. Especially somebody that I talk to Christina every day. And she's here. I'm like, you're going to Periscope from there, right? I definitely am going to Periscope from there.
Okay.
Never happens.
Now, when I pull up Periscope, I get your Periscope that you're doing live right now.
Okay, cool. All right, so quick question. Did you write in Notepad any title ahead of time?
No.
You don't have to. It's just something that I'll let people know. Sometimes you get disconnected, and I personally think it's a great idea to write down your titles ahead of time in Notepad. I happen to use an iPhone, so I call it Notepad. I don't know what the terminology is for it in the Android. I'm sure it's a Notepad of some kind. So
just in here?
Yeah, so now you don't have to. Right now, go ahead and just do it in your here. I'll go ahead and put your phone back up there. I want to explain this because I'm sure there's a few people on here who haven't done a Periscope, and just put it up close. Well,
yeah. Now when I pull up, I'm just pulling up the app, and you. There.
All right, and then I'll tell you some stuff to do. Okay, so now go ahead and hit the. Okay, so go a little closer. This one is a little up. Okay, now try to hold it up just a little more. I'm going to try to specifically reference 4 icons for these people. A little teeny more up. I'm trying to see those 4 bottom icons. Okay, perfect. So in the bottom there, you see 4 icons. Right now, Christina has pressed the television on the far left. That's for consuming. So you could see people you're following, or you could see people who are going live right now, and you can actually consume a Periscope. The next one in, go ahead and hit the one that looks like a little world, Christina. The one that looks like a little world, a little Earth. Okay, so now it's going to take a second, but you'll actually see a map come up of the Western Hemisphere here, since that's where we're at. It doesn't look like it's coming up yet, but it might be a bandwidth thing going on over there. But normally you'll see a little map that'll pop up there, and you'll see a bunch of numbers. You can actually zoom down in on the map and see a specific person periscoping from that. Does anyone else see it? I don't see it. Do you see it, Karen, or is it
no?
Just
I don't see it either. No.
That's weird.
No, my map.
Okay. Well, normally we'll come back. What was that? Well, you got a question?
Nope. I know. I can't see it either.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Well, there's 2 different ways. If you look up top, go ahead and turn it towards you for a second, Christina.
Oh, there's the map.
Okay. Oh, there comes the map. Okay, so it's just taking a little time. It probably is a bandwidth issue.
We've got everyone on Periscope.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like it's taking a little time. Okay, so now you see all those little numbers. Yeah. This is probably one of the things that's most fascinating, in my opinion, about Periscope. As of the last show, I haven't looked at their current numbers, but when we did the show on Reinvention Radio, 5 months almost to the day, they were at 10 million users. Okay, so what you see there are broadcasters that have their location button on. And if you can hold it steady for a second, most people can see. I don't know the exact number, but when I try to do a quick calculation there's somewhere between 100 and 150 in the Western Hemisphere that are actually broadcasting live right now with their location button on. Now, granted, that being said, not everybody puts their location button on. And I'll tell you about that when we get to that next little icon. But there's the map feature, and then also go down just a little bit, Christina, with your phone. Down the other way, sorry. Yeah. You'll see up top there, everybody who's watching the blab, that it says map or list. You can go ahead and turn the phone towards you now and hit the list where it says list to the right there of map. And now it might take a second again, so we won't stay here too long. But it would just be another little list of everybody. Yeah, it looks like it's taken a while. It'll be another list. There it goes. Instead of a map format, now it's just a list format of people that you're following and or going live right now that you can watch. And it looks like there's some, you got a few people on the other side of the world, either that or Mexico. I can't quite tell when I'm looking at, but it's not English. And then, so now let's go ahead. That's an idea. So that's for consuming. So the first two are more for consumption. The next one in on the bottom, if you go ahead and hit that one, Christina, that is you're getting ready to broadcast button. Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. So since you haven't done it yet, this is awesome. Everybody, you won't see this screen once you've done it before.
Karen's back there laughing.
I know. I'm shaking my head that she hasn't even enabled her camera yet.
Do you remember? Doesn't it seem so long ago, Karen, when you first saw that screen?
I know. I really was kind of taken aback a little when I saw that, I have to say.
All right. Who else is starting here? I'm not alone.
Okay, so there's the first one will say enable camera. So we're going to take you live and broadcast with you. So hit yes on that.
All right.
And don't hit them all yet because I'm going to specifically go over something.
Yep.
All right. So now the next one down, if you can see, is enable microphone. You're going to want to do that. Don't worry, everybody. You can't use it.
A snapshot of that. So I just took a screenshot of the screen that nobody ever sees.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now what we're not going to do, though, unless you're at the office, is that bottom one says enable location. Are you at the office or are you away from your home?
No, I don't want to do location right now.
Okay, perfect. So there you go. That's one of the things I was going to say. I personally, like back to that original one where it showed the map and it showed all the locations you're at. It's kind of a catch-22. If you want to be discovered on a map, I don't claim to know the algorithm, but part of being discovered, people sometimes just want to see who's broadcasting in their city or in an area around them. So it actually helps if you are in a spot. Like I happen on Periscope to have location on now, but I'm at WS Radio Studios. So to me, it doesn't matter.
So I can turn it off. Like when I'm on location next week at the NBC thing, I'll turn it on because that's kind of cool. And then turn it off when I'm not.
If anything, it's just more social proof because if anyone's on a computer and looks deeper at where that is, now it shows on the map that it'll show you're in the studio there. You're not just have your own studio. You're making it look like you're there.
All right.
So go ahead and. All right. So we're not going to enable. And you can close that screen now.
Okay.
Sorry if I was squinting. I got to remember to keep looking up at this camera here. All right. Yeah. Okay. So there you are. And your location is off. So these are you may or may not be able to see it. I'm obviously not an artist, but I'm going to show you a couple of things here real quick. The icons that you have down there, one of them is a little birdie. I don't know. Is this mirroring or does it look all backwards?
You know what, Rich? I don't know.
Well, I can read the word start broadcast, so it's not mirror. It's not backwards.
Okay. So basically on my actual screen down below, can you see that or is it mirrored? Does it say auto?
No, I can read the sign behind you.
Well, maybe it's just
auto link to your Twitter account.
Yeah. Auto link to your Twitter account. Yeah.
So that right there, that little birdie, when that's on, which yours is, and it defaults to, when you actually hit start broadcast, that's the one on the far right there. That will automatically make a link to your Twitter account, so then your Twitter followers will know that you've gone live if they see it in the screen, right? We all know. I mean, Twitter's awesome, but it's a lot of stuff streaming, so they might not. Don't rely upon that. You want to sometimes let people know ahead of time as well. The second one in there, right to the left of that.
Closer, yeah.
Yep. Is it'll take a second here. Only users that you follow can chat if you hit that. Which, there's uses for this. They don't just randomly put this on here. And some people will say, don't ever push that. But there's times you want to. If it's something very important, or it's people that only you are following, and maybe you're having a meeting or something like that, and you'd like other people to see it, but you don't want them to be able to jump in and troll on your Periscope, that actually is a very useful one. So you can still let people feel like a fly on the wall there, and actually get to experience it, but then you don't have the trolls. Free speech, whatever, troll's a troll. It makes, who knows, there could be people trolling right now on my Periscope. I happen to be Periscoping this too, and they're probably wondering why they can't hear you, because I have my headphones in so I can blab with you. The third one over that has this lock.
Yeah.
I'm going to do better ones of these, but right now I'm actually doing this on purpose with this horrible artwork and writing to show, don't let perfectionism ever stop you, especially when you're just starting. So yeah, that one is for when you want to do a private scope. So say you want to test with somebody, because this is a perfect example back to the very beginning when people are no. Well, the only reason why I want you to do the phone every now and again, although I don't want to hide your beautiful face, is so they can actually see where it is on there and recognize it again when they do it. But what's good about that, like say you're doing a training video, or maybe you have private coaching, you're doing something. I'm going to be doing that when I do my streaming academy. Just the people who are students, I'll just allow them to come in and invite them privately,
so
and then just do a private scope
button,
just for them.
You'll have a way to just contact certain people and let them in.
Yes, that button right there.
Or they'll have a private link.
Yes, that third one in above your start button. Yep. It's kind of, it's a little grayed out. Sorry, I didn't say this part, but when they're white, that means they're activated. When they're gray, that means they're off.
Okay. All right, and what's the last little one?
And then the last one is the thing you could have hit in the beginning, which is the location button. So that when you're actually at the news station, that's the one you'll be putting on for sure.
Okay.
For multiple reasons. One, it'll provide social proof, because if anyone goes to if they're watching on the computer and they actually go to Google Maps and they're looking specifically where it's at, they'll see you're in the station. Plus, you access yourself to be able to be discovered more, because on that world map earlier, where it showed the numbers that we were talking about, you wouldn't, if you don't have location activated, you don't show up on that.
Okay.
But if you think about it, it was partially where I was going earlier when I said, think about that. 10 million people consuming. That was a few weeks ago. It's obviously more than that by now. But there were less than 100 people that were broadcasting in the Western Hemisphere. That's not San Diego. That's not Virginia. That's not, this is the Western Hemisphere. So it's almost like, I'm dating myself, but it's almost back like when there was only 3 channels on TV, right. And almost any show could be a success. That's relative too, obviously. But you could get viewers just because of the sheer number of people who are wanting to consume content. Now, that being said, because we're about ready to have you do a broadcast, you could type whatever you want on there, but eventually, depending on if people have questions, how you use your title is probably one of the most powerful aspects of this, other than the obvious being able to connect with people and then following you, nurturing your first followers. way you title your scopes, you can show up in other people's streams. Because like, I think that's how Karen saw that I was going live on Periscope, is she probably saw it in the Twitter stream because it actually in the title had both of you at PR for Anybody, at Karen Yankovich. So how you use hashtags, yeah, you can do anything you want. So say there was something that you thought people would be searching for on Twitter. I see a lot of people using hashtags that people don't know, and maybe as your brand gets bigger, that's good. But I don't think that's necessarily good in the beginning. Actually, there's a few people on here, I'm not going to call them out. I love them, but they're using hashtags that people don't know of yet. So go ahead and use it maybe in your profile or talk about it in your Periscope, but to actually utilize that in the beginning, unless you don't care about being discovered yet and you are going for nurturing your first followers, try to use things that people will actually be searching for in Twitter, as opposed to, something that someone might not know about yet.
So where does the title go? At the top where it says,
Yes. So exactly. So where it says broadcast and it's asking, what are you seeing now? You go ahead and click in that little area.
And what should we type? A live blab?
Sure.
Watch on.
No, my first Periscope.
Yeah, there you go. My first hashtag Periscope. Well, you don't have to put Periscope in this because Periscope will actually be in the link when it goes to your Twitter anyway. So you could still say my first Periscope because it is. But as far as like, and then hashtag Blab is probably good too because people are discovering Blab and might be looking up Blab or seeing Blab in their feeds. A lot of people are putting people in their, top blabbers or top Periscopers when they see those hashtags. So you don't know that, or they might just start following because they find something interesting. So what do you got in there so far?
My first hashtag scope.
Like that. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to change it real quick.
While you're doing that, I'm going to just look in these comments real quick because I know Karen's probably already doing that, but just in case anyone's asked something that we haven't covered. Is anyone else using their phone to...
I would ask you this, but should we, before she does that, should we check her settings to see if she's saving it to her phone?
Oh, yes. Okay, here's a perfect example why I say sometimes write your titles in Notepad first. Now, you can go in there and copy that right now. Go ahead and hit on copy so you don't have to do it again. But when you close this out, I'm almost positive that, that's a great question, Karen. I was just thinking about it. I'm almost positive that they changed it to where it would start saving it to phone. But
it defaults to that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember.
Well, I imagine with, like you guys said, even today, they're probably changing things daily.
Yeah. We'll put it this way. Worst case scenario, we can do what Karen said, and we can just go look at your link and copy it and get a screen capture of it. I mean, because you're not going to get the hearts and comments on that saving it to your phone anyway. So it might be. And it's your first one, right? We're not trying to conquer Rome here.
There we go.
All right, and she's about to go live. Woohoo! Is anybody else? Did anyone else go through that at the same time, trying to set it up on their phone? That's just curious. You don't have to. Obviously, we're watching theirs, but I just wondered if anyone.
I don't see anybody. They're probably all experienced.
Yeah, I had to see some other comments there.
All right, ready?
All right.
Start.
Hit start.
All right, but now I'm this way. All right, so this is my first Periscope.
Oh my gosh, Christina Daves is on. Can you see it?
I'm filming you, putting me up on Blab on Periscope.
All right, so yeah, this is how fun it gets right here. So right now I'm going to go to Twitter and look
somebody's
for
already joined. Oh, this is awesome. The power of live streaming social media. Everybody find me on Periscope.
I'm going to shut it off because I don't want to use up my Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't want to lose my
Well,
connection
no,
here.
Wi-Fi. You should be fine as long as if it didn't do
Yeah?
anything right then, it's not gonna. Yeah, I mean, you can
So
turn
we
it
can
off
tell
in a
the
second. But
Periscope
just,
people we're on Blab talking about Periscope, talking about the changes today. It's my first one, so we get everybody on there.
exactly.
It's not
So you can
loading.
see. Yeah, mine's not. I'm actually
It's not
looking for
loading. Is yours
something here
loading?
too.
Mine's not loading. It says 15
mine's
live
not.
viewers, though.
Look at that. Welcome to your
Nice.
first one watching live on
Instant
Blab.
star.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so I mean, you can see how easy it is. So go ahead and tilt it the other way too, so you can get an example when you can see both landscape and.
Yeah, there we are live, and here I'll even say hello to my people. So can you
And one of the
still
things
take
you.
that like you can when you're taking pictures?
Yes. So now if you when you're broadcasting and you double tap the screen, it'll make the camera come back to you.
Ah, okay. Hello, everybody. All right, somebody says they can't see anything. I'm gonna go back there. They don't need to see me that close up. So, all right. Well, this was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Karen, any input on all this? Since you're a regular scoper.
I think, you know what, Christina, you, like we talked about last week, you need to just turn on your camera and do it. You need to just find opportunities, turn it on and do it.
All right, now I have a question that just came in on my Periscope. Hold still, sugar, I'm getting dizzy. So,
That sounds more like a statement.
But yeah, if you don't have a steady hand, what's a good way? Why? So when I met Rich, you had it on a selfie stick.
There you go, right there. My grandpa's old school tripod from like 1960, and then I just MacGyvered it there and put a new selfie stick top on the top of my. That way, I have a little bit of my grandpa with me while I'm.
Oh. I actually, Christina, I use my iPad to Periscope as often as I can. I'm in my office because first of all, it's bigger. I can see the comments better. And I just prop it up on my laptop, you know, where I've already got the video set up, so to speak. So,
getting parts. Yay. All right. How about, because it's 3:30. What do you think? Should we bring some people in with questions?
I think we should. You guys are not going to believe this, but because I was so determined that we were going to be done at 3:30 today, I have to leave.
Oh.
So I'm going to leave you two to do the questions. I'm so sorry, but I have like a brand new client that could only talk to me today at 3:30, and I went, that's no problem because we are going to be done at 3:30. So I'm going to run.
My 3:30's in on our Blab, so Allison will chat when it's over.
Good. All right, so I'm going to run and let you two finish this up. But come back next week, and I'll be back here next week. We've got a really good guest next week, too. Talk to you guys later. So sorry.
Bye, Karen.
All right, so if anybody wants to come in, comment, talk about it, we've got 2 open seats. I don't know, Rich, any other? Oh, here it comes. All right, hold on. Let's put Mimica on. Hello, welcome.
Hey, well, I'm just stick my earphones in. I'm busy like trying to charge the phone, watching stuff.
Yeah, we have this. How many people can say we have Periscope and Blab going together? Periscope
Exactly. Let me see if I can get this. I can hear better. Yeah, it is. It has a slight delay on Periscope, so that's okay. But you know, there you go. So yeah, you need one of these, like. Table tripod,
yeah,
because when you're holding it, it gets a little. So of course now they can do landscape. We can switch it. I need to flip it over. I'm so glad they have the update to the landscape, because who watches TV sideways, right? Having it upright this way is like crazy. It's like you don't take pictures like that. You hold it sideways.
I picked the perfect day to start, right? The first second.
Exactly. And I was being a bit blonde this morning. I was like, why is it not updating? And it seems like the updates were automatic. That now I noticed as I got in the scope and you change it. So it takes a little getting used to. But at least you can at least give it a try, because I know your arms are going to get really heavy holding it up there.
So you're a big Periscoper.
Yes, well, I have a background in TV broadcasting, and part of what I do is video training and online marketing in using branding. So for me, the video is just awesome. And that's why I'm so excited, because I've been doing a show recording on Skype. And back in the day, it was like 2013, I started recording my interview show, but it was like $250 for a streaming app, or for a company to do it for me. So this is what I'm so excited about, Blab. It's now for free. Yes. When we have all these facilities and these options to connect with people in real time, and it's totally free. It's just totally awesome. So I'm just an addict.
And what we're doing that people can take this and run with it. That's why we're doing these just for an hour, but we're putting them on YouTube. We've created intros and outros, and we'll also have it on iTunes. So if you think about it in terms of a business, when you do video and branding, we now have live, recorded on YouTube, and audio only, not to mention putting it on our blogs. And this is just a great way to explode your expertise and let people know what you're really good at.
Yeah, and it's really saving you a lot of time, because you can repurpose content. Like if my show as well, before we would do the edits, and then we'd have to have one version. So now we just strip the audio, add it to iTunes, upload. Like I did a Blab, and I have a couple of people in. I know Sarah Thompson's also live with us now on the Blab. I interviewed her about 2 hours ago. And I'm just so excited to be able to have it recorded, add it to YouTube, put it on my blog post, and there we're done. And we can just use it again and again and again. So definitely it's a real game changer. And I think people who get on it now and start to really get their foot and get wet into using it and being one of the first ones on there to use it can really start to make a name for themselves and connect with their ideal clients.
Yeah, that's awesome. I totally agree.
So do you prefer Periscope, or are you liking Blab more? Because it's kind of similar, but there's a little differences, right?
I think like Rich said, for me, starting out on Periscope, I think it's really weird, just me talking into a phone like this.
Like a monologue.
Yeah, I love this. Although what I'm doing next week will be really fun for me, because I'll be showing people and showing, you're in TV, so we're doing a on-location shoot. So all the people will be there, and I've got the cameraman and the reporter and the producer and my client. It's going to be really cool, so people can see, this is how a microphone works. This is, this is how they film. This is how they do the lighting. So it'll be real. But just the one-on-one, it's going to take me a little time to get used to.
Yeah, like Periscope is really, it's almost like you feel like you're monologuing to yourself, because you're speaking to the camera, and you need to come up with keeping the conversation going, asking for interaction, asking for hearts, asking for props, and getting that viewer feedback. But there's also like selfie stick. You can use a selfie stick.
Okay. Yeah.
And also I have to chime in and say lighting is super important too. Like you can drastically improve your quality of your video by having better lighting. At the moment, my camera, I still haven't quite figured out how to get my HD camera to work, but I'm using studio lighting that's continuous lighting. So these are, I've had on since I've been doing interviews this morning. But behind me, in actual fact, let me show you. I'm going to grab you 1 second.
Okay.
So while she's coming right back.
This is a ring light, a video ring light that I actually just opened up today. And the reason why this is good, especially for us women, having the circular light, and this is a daylight balance bulb, because if you're in a different room, you'll have either tungsten or you'll have a color cast. So you either get that green or that orange look. So this is one way of creating that really nice looking even lighting on the skin tones. You don't need a lot of makeup with a ring light. So this will just go on a tripod, but at least have some form of lighting. Even in your room, you could probably, I can see your room is a little blue and green.
I just have, it's called a cowboy kit.
Oh yeah, so you also have a cowboy light. So you probably need to just kind of balance, maybe just use a reflector and balance the lighting a little, and you can do that with a few apps. But yeah, I'm excited to try and use different lighting options like this, so we can improve the quality of the video.
And Karen's not here, we can't tease her, although she's listening. She can't see anything. When she first started, she looked very orange. So those ring lights.
Exactly. So the ring light is just fabulous because it's for beauty and makes it look really good.
This is an example of bad lighting in here too. I'm at the radio station. Of course, in a radio station, they're not worried about lighting. And so I have fluorescent lights above me, which, I'm already old enough, but that makes the bags look a little bit more
green tone.
poor lighting
and
here.
I was with Rick in that
Yeah, a little bit.
2 weeks ago, we all looked at each other and thought, "Oh gosh, whose idea was it to put fluorescent lights in there?"
And even like I said, if you're in a room, you can change the light bulbs. You can go and buy from Lowe's daylight balance. Just what you need to look for: daylight balance globes. So even if you don't have fancy lighting, at least look for that option. And what it'll do is it'll match your skin tone, so it looks more natural. So you can have more of have a better look to it.
So what did you say? Daylight balance globe?
Yes, daylight balanced globe. If you just go to Lowe's or Home Depot, any like lighting you're using, any fluorescence in your room, you definitely want to look for that option. I think they're a little more expensive than the standard ones, but they really do help in terms of giving you more of an even look.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you want the warm tones.
Yes, I look a little red because it's really hot in here and I'm wearing red. But yeah, you want to have more of an even tone. And the other thing is, here's another trick. Here's the photographer in me coming out. Is just to hold a piece of white paper in front of your camera to balance it. So sometimes you go like that, hold it for a few seconds, and you see how it adjusted. Oh, that's what it's doing. You use a white card, and then another thing you could use. This is some other apps I use. Eyeglasses is an app, or webcam settings. If you're using your webcam, that'll help you really tweak the balance, the lighting, so you can get some really great color. At the moment, the webcam that it's using is the one in my computer, which is not ideal. As you can see, it's a little bitty. So I need to figure out the settings with Blab to get it looking great. But yeah, anything to make us look fabulous, right?
Of course. So Karen and I said, now we have to wake up every morning and actually do our hair and makeup because we might end up on a Blab or a Periscope. Who knows?
You only need to worry about this part. You can have the pajamas and the slippers underneath the table, right? No one really knows.
Have an old pair of shorts on under this.
But even so, we don't have to treat it like it's live TV. Like when I did TV broadcasting, of course, everything has to be perfect and the light and the makeup has to be caked on. I think people are really loving the more interactive. Just being authentically you, like, your hair doesn't have to look perfect. As long as you can have some light in your eyes, you can keep a good conversation going and just interact with viewers. I think content is really going to work out there, but you can make it easier for people to watch by making it look pretty too.
And Rich and I talked about that on the phone yesterday, and that's really important. He brought that up too about Periscope. People get to see the real you, right, Rich? I mean, so you get the authentic person. You're not reading a script off a teleprompter. You're not reading a sales video page. It's like, this is me, silly, goofy, whatever we're doing.
Oh yeah, I've seen some internet marketers that have done video sales letters and copy that are just phenomenal following, sell all kinds of packages, completely bomb. Like I've seen newbies that have never been in front of a camera do better than they've done because it's just so different and new for them to be able to get on. Oh, awesome. We got another guest. But that one quick thing, just in case someone gets going here, I'm at the studio and Steve Olsher's Reinvention Radio is going, and I'm normally in there on the mic with him, and he's been going for about 40 minutes now. I just now realized with us going overtime with the beginning, I'm not necessarily going to go right now because it goes in 15-minute chunks. So
we're doing a hard stop. 5 minutes, we're going to do a hard stop. But we're keeping this at an hour. So
perfect. I'll stay on then. Okay. I just wanted to say that just in case. And I followed you too. Is that Mimika?
Yes, it's Mimika like paprika.
And Mimika, are you?
Beautiful name. Where's that from?
No, my accent, I'm not from around these parts, darling. Yeah. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I'm actually South African. And I've been living in the US for 9 years, and it's been super fun. So I have recently become a citizen, so I'm actually officially an African American, born in Africa. Now I'm American.
And you're into cooking too, because if you say paprika, you got to be into cooking, right?
Got to be memorable, darling.
Is that one of the red outfit?
Yes, you see, I like to go for styling. Simple. Oh, that's the other tip. Video, keep it simple and solid, something that doesn't date, nothing branded, nothing logo-wise, although you can certainly, with yours, Christina, your background is fabulous because it's showing your brand, but with our clothing, nothing too distracting, so you can reuse your content as an evergreen format. So yes,
and that's great. All right, so we have another guest on. We got just a couple minutes, so welcome. Are you a Periscoper, a Blabber, both?
I'm just new to Blab. I never did Periscope.
Okay.
A couple of videos I did on YouTube, but I'd like to know what I can learn here. Now it says, be heard, be seen and heard. So here I am, I'm being seen, and he left. But anyway, so what does it mean? What does it mean to be seen and heard?
Well, what Karen and I like to do is the more you are exposed to, and I don't know what your business is, but
Who's Karen?
Karen was the co-host.
Oh.
She's with me. She had to go at 3:30.
Okay. Now, what is it that you're doing with the phone here?
I'm doing Periscope.
Oh, I see. So you're putting this somewhere else.
Today's whole episode was to learn how to do Periscope.
Don't you need one of those things that it just automatically sits there? And
we talked about yes.
Tripod?
Something like that. Yeah.
But this is my very first.
You need to watch the replay.
What's that?
This is my very first one, so I didn't know that yet. Now I know all this.
And we're on the record, so that's good.
We're on the record. So we're doing both Periscope and Blab together. But yeah, so what we're doing, we do this every week, 2:30 Eastern time for an hour, 2:30 to 3:30. We just want to help people find ways to get themselves out there. You know, how do you find customers? How do clients find you? And Periscope and Blab are two fabulous ways to just constantly put yourself out there and let people learn about your expertise.
Right. Well, that's good. I got a lot of people knowing about my work. I'm an artist.
Okay.
I get between 10,000 and 35,000 visitors to my art site every day.
Wow.
Oh, awesome. So you need to be on video. You need to put your work and your face on video. Let people know the real you, the artist behind the work. People love it.
Well, I don't think, why do they want to know me? See, I think that people like art, but a lot of them don't want to even come near the artist.
Because it's a different perspective. To be able to see, and I don't know if you heard, I'm going next week with one of my clients who's got a local television appearance. And people don't get to see that side of it. I can't wait to show it. I've been there, but how many of you would love to see a Periscope with me walking around, before they go, and then I'll sit quietly while they're filming, and then,
oh yeah. Hey,
so yeah,
exactly. Behind the scenes is great. Like this, I just did a Periscope. I just opened up the Diva light out of the box, and I did an unwrapping party on Periscope. So the first time before I even laid eyes on the light, I opened the box, shared it on Periscope, and it's almost like you've got people in the room with you because they love to know what it is your point of view, because you're going to see things differently to the way they would. So for you, is it Volor? Is that how you say your first name? Walter. Okay, so that's your
my world, and if you did the search of that, it'd give you all the different things that I've got there.
Ah, so you can actually do like a behind the scenes and actually have the video set up of you painting or you actually doing your artwork, and talk to the camera like you're speaking to an individual person. Like, this is why you select the mediums. I mean, what kind of painting do you use? Oils,
I started
acrylics?
57 years ago photographing. Wow. And I've done all along little painting and drawings and colored pencil. But with the digital world, I'm totally digital now. And so I do everything in the computer. And I think of myself as working with pure energy.
Ah, so that's translated well.
Something you can get your Periscope started. And I bet you'd get a big following really quickly.
Can I give you a link here? Can I give you a link?
Sure. Why don't you put it in the chat box?
I have two links. One is my main site. And I'd like, if you don't mind, to connect with me like on Facebook or something, because for me, I need that kind of careful messaging to get the idea of what you're talking about, because I'm really already out of space.
We will totally reach out to you. Definitely put it in there. And
because I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, work on my art. I have 310,000 images on my site for the art.
Yeah, make sure you put it in.
I have 200,000 more on the computer to put up. So all I'm working all the time.
Oh boy. Well, I've been a photographer for 12 years, and I know we have a problem with, deleting things. You want to keep your art because, well, maybe I'll use that on another day and it builds on the next project. So it's awesome that you can share that. But yeah, I want to know the artist behind the art. What's your story?
I was 7 years old. You want to know, if you really want to know, so my wife is tired of hearing this stuff. Because I tell people,
I got to ask you to tell your story kind of quickly because we're going over.
I was 7 years old. My father was a cop in Greenwich Village, New York. We were in a laundromat. He said to me out of the clear blue wall, they had the prices on the wall, what is it you want to be when you grow up? I said, a cop or a fireman. You don't want to insult your father. He's a cop and the fireman. I like the blue uniform and the red fire engine. A couple of weeks, he said, no, you're not. That was it. A couple of weeks later, they gave me a Brownie camera, and I said, well, they don't want me to shoot with the gun, so I'll shoot with the camera. That was the start of my work.
There you go. I love it.
There is a video where I talk about that in an interview with 3 ladies, if you want me to post that too.
Yeah,
Yes, everyone can go check him out. I think he's put his links there. It's 100.us and Bebriani Art. So I'm sure, Christina, your arms must be getting really tired. You've been holding your phone.
As my co-host, as Karen had to get off, but we'll be.
No worries.
Is this leaving now? You're leaving it?
We're going to leave it. Yeah, but go ahead, put that in there because people can grab it. But we'll be back next week, 2:30 Eastern Time. We're going to start having a whole lineup of awesome guests. I've been on email and the phone today, and I'm really excited about what's to come. So every week will be different ways that we can help you get seen and be heard. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Congrats on your first Periscope.
Thanks for joining us today on our Blab series, Get Seen, Be Heard. If you've missed any episodes, you can always find us at www.getseenbeheardtv.com/YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll always be notified when we upload a new episode. We work together with clients, helping them combine social media and PR to get more customers and grow their business. If that sounds like something you'd like to learn more about, visit us at www.soartoprofit.com. We have regular workshops where we combine our expertise and show you how to use social media and publicity to get seen and be heard. See you next week.